Hey everyone, welcome back to Collecting Nolan. This is Russ, and today's another Sensational Set Sunday. And today we're going to be talking about 1991 score. So let's go ahead and get started and look at some Nolans. So, as far as the 1991 score set, I don't know about you guys, but like this thing was the 1991 score cards were like right in my were probably one of the most popular sets during my childhood. I can remember ripping quite a few packs of those. And then the one year for Christmas, the 1991 year, I guess, I got the set. And this thing I thought was incredible because it had 900 player cards and it had what I thought were some of the coolest cards in the hobby at that time. Um, so if you look at the top here, it has like the Dream Team card, like with the Jose Canseco, and then it has the big headed cards with Barry Larkin. More Dream Team on the back there with Will Clark, and of course, Nolan. So this set was just like one of my favorite sets of the 90s because of one of the size of it. As a kid, it's always the more the better, right? The bigger the better. And so the more cards that you could see, and to be honest, I've opened this set, but I don't think I've actually ever seen all the cards in this set. I just I don't like pulling them out of here. I know the set's worth absolutely like almost $0, but I don't know. I might someday pull it out just to put it in a binder just to see what they all look like. But this is this is just one of the most iconic sets. So today we're going to talk about the Nolan Ryan cards within the 1991 score set. Now, while most of the cards are in the big set that you could buy, 1991 score also had a number of other cards in it as well. So, and we're going to talk about all those because I think 1991 was basically the sweet spot for score because they were making a lot of things. They were making their cards. They made there was another box set of 100 superstars. They also made like a rookies box set, an up and coming stars set. They also made the Slurpee coins, which I made a video about a few months ago. If you haven't seen that, you can go check that out. But Score was the manufacturer for the Slurpee coins in 1991. And then they had another set that we're also going to talk about called The Life and Times of Nolan Ryan. So let's go ahead and get started and just start with the base set. And we'll go from there. So, because the base set had a number of Nolans in it. The first one was this base card, which was number 4 in the set. I think Jose Canseco led off the set at number 1. There's the back. So that's the plain Jane Nolan Ryan base card. And then it had a highlights card with his son. I think that's Reed on the front there with him. Talking about his 300th career win. And that's I don't know, like, Score, to me, before this, like, cards were just kind of just, here's a picture. Topps was kind of cool when he had his 5,000th strikeout in 1990 Topps. But Score just basically, I think they upped their ante here. They really upped the bar as far as, like, what a baseball card could do. And they just did a lot of different things with them. As we'll see, like the next card is probably one of my most favorite cards. But, this one has a cool picture of Nolan, firing a fastball there in the background of all these lights and stuff. And it almost looks like a constellation. Maybe not, but whatever. But still just like a really, really cool card. Maybe that's like all the flashes going off when he won his 300th game. Not quite sure, but really cool card there. And then this card... It's like so freaking awesome. It's the K-Man card, man. Like, as a kid, like, that was probably one of the best cards ever to pull. And to be honest, I never pulled it. I had to buy this card later in life. Like, I actually bought this like a couple months ago because I was sorting through my cards and I was like, well, I don't have that card. Are you kidding me? And I thought I did, but it was not in my childhood binder. And so, in a fit of rage, I went to eBay and bought one. But that card is just so cool. Like, I don't know. It's got this close up of Nolan throwing this fastball, and then it has like these laser lights coming at you. And as a 10-year-old kid, like when I was born in 1981, so I was 10 years old when this came out. This was like the coolest card ever, in my opinion. And Score had a lot of those cards. I mean, that Dream Team set with them and the black and white photos and stuff, like you didn't see cards like that before, especially, you just didn't see them. Here's another one, the no hit card. So that's a cool one. And that's when he no hit the Oakland Athletics. So that's card number 701. Then here's another cool like insert. Cooperstown Heroes. It's almost like the Diamond Kings that Donruss has in a way. But I don't know. Like to me, like that card's just really cool. I just love like how the background's white and then it just has like this nice portrait picture of Nolan. So that basically ends what was in the Score set. However, here is what was on the box. Nolan. That one's blank back, so that you can tell that's from the box, while the other one's the base card. And it's got, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like these like ridges that you could tell it was like punched out from the box. So that's another way to tell. But of course, the blank back is probably the best way to tell. So then on top of those cards, there was this set called The Life and Times of Nolan Ryan. I think that's what it was. Am I saying that right? I think I am. Yeah, The Life and Times of Nolan Ryan. And this was a 4-card set. And it was only issued in a booklet. And I have the booklet as well, so I'll be showing that out. And I think if you watch Jim Faulkner's show as well, 5714 Collector, I think he's shown this before, but I'm not sure. But this is The Life and Times of Nolan Ryan, A Historic Journey of Excellence. And there's like the binder. Let me turn that for you. So The Life and Times of Nolan Ryan. And, so let me just show this real quick here. So in it has the Score 4 cards, but it also has a bunch of these inserts that you can look at, and I'm going to take them out so we can look at them. But this was, I think, the only way that you could get those cards other than buying them off of eBay. So this was done by Tarrant Printing, which I hadn't heard of before, but again, really cool artwork there. And there was basically, I think, 4 volumes of this. Starting with his Elven Years in Volume 1, and then the Mets and Angels in Volume 2. Volume 3 was the Astros and Rangers years, and then the 4th volume was A Road to Cooperstown. And then there's 4 scorecards that I talk about commemorate his 300th win, his 5,000th strikeout, and his 6th and 7th no-hitters. So, really cool set. Let me see here. So, here is the first volume, which is the Elven Years. So, each volume has this little booklet with the same picture on it, I think, with the title. And if you open these up, they have, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see. It just has a great photos, and it talks about Nolan's life, really, kind of like a miniature biography. But you'll see pictures in here that I've never seen in other books, including I've been reading his autobiography, and his biography, as well as Ruth Ryan's biography. And some of these pictures are not even in those books. So this offers a little bit more of a wide variety of Nolan's pictures. So I'm just going to try to get like close-ups of each of them there, just to show you what you get in each one. And there's a picture of Nolan at age 5, for goodness sake. So there's a nice top there. There's a nice picture of Ruth and Nolan there when they were young. And Nolan when he was young again. I think that says 8th grade, right? Yeah, 8th grade. But just really kind of cool casual photos, you know, like you just don't get to see that kind of stuff too often. You only get to see Nolan the baseball player, Nolan the rancher, Nolan this polished Hall of Famer now in his twilight years, you know, just enjoying his life, which is good. But these are more of just more of a close-up, I guess. So there's a high school photo of him. High school photo of him as a picture and playing basketball. Let's see what else. Talks about him going to school. You know, he's thinking about going to school as a veterinarian just in case, you know, this whole baseball thing didn't work out. He had a backup plan, which is good. So really cool stuff there. So that was volume 1. And then volume 2, this is when he was with the Mets and Angels. So, you know, it starts off with from Alvin, Texas to the Big Apple, you know, which I would imagine that would be a pretty big, not a wake-up call, but just a stark change, you know. But again, you just see some photos in here that you would not typically see. So that's why, and I haven't read this yet. Wow, you're never going to see that. Look at that. That's Nolan Bunting. Jeez, oh man. That is just crazy. So just a lot of cool pictures that you'll just never see. And then it has some of these awesome photos in the back with the Angels and Mets. And it goes by his, does his totals by the years when he was with the Mets and the years he's with the Angels. And just, those are some crazy pictures. Just awesome photography. Like there's one after he threw his 3rd no-hitter, and then he's with Mickey Mouse. So and some other photos there. I don't know. I enjoy seeing all these old photos. And I think this one he shows him on a game show with Frank Robinson, and who else is that? That's Bobby Valentine. So it's kind of funny because Bobby Valentine was Nolan's manager with the Rangers. So it's kind of like life comes full circle. 2 current baseball players, and then when Nolan's pitching when he's in his 40s, Bobby Valentine is the Rangers manager. So that's a cool one. And then has like this live action blur photo of Nolan pitching that says hit me if you can, hit it if you can. Just cool, really cool stuff. And I'm gonna have to sit back and read this because I'm sure there's lots of information in here that I don't have. And oh my goodness, this is like this is awesome. Look at this. 19 strikeouts by Nolan Ryan sets American League record and ties Major League mark. Look at that photo. I love that big scoreboard in the background. That is freaking awesome. I love that. So that's volume 2. Let me see here. Volume 4. We'll see what else is in here. Because to be honest, And this might be the most closest I've ever looked at this. But, you know, that's what's cool about collecting is that you can always go back and keep looking at stuff, you know. So this one talks about him getting traded to the Astros so Nolan comes home. Let's see what it's got in here. Wow. Just some really great photos. Nolan with his kids. Wendy, Reese, and Reed. Nolan on his 4,000th strikeout there, which is really cool. Wow. Celebrating all-time major league record for strikeouts. I guess, yeah. So, shows Nolan there and there. It's just crazy because, you know, 4,000 strikeouts is a lot, but then he threw 1,714 more. Oh my goodness. Dude, that takes the cake for me there. Look at that. That is freaking awesome. I love that photo. Wow. That is just awesome. I don't know what it is about that rainbow uniform, guys, but you know, that just brings everything home for me. I mean, I love all of Nolan's cards, but geez, oh man, that that Astros rainbow is just, I don't know, it's great. It's like iconic 80s. So, has all of his records in there. Wow. Here's a cool one. One with the Texas flag there with the Rangers, and then there's him with Roger Staubach. Great quarterback. And then, of course, his many Sports Illustrated covers. And him in the Rocket. Roger Clemens there. Him signing stuff. You know, I mean, Nolan, you know, just a very awesome guy in general. Always signing stuff through his foundation. And, you know, before that, you know, just a stand-up guy in general. And then there's a great one too. That's just a great picture of Nolan there with his family in set there, but just a great picture. I love that. Really cool set there. So that's volume 3, and then volume 4 is Road to Cooperstown. So, I mean, he wasn't inducted yet, as far as I can tell, right? Like, when was this made? This was made in 1991, so they didn't use like old cards for this. This was made in 1991, so he wasn't inducted yet. Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. There you go. Guys, this is just... Guys, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I'll show you in a second. This is just great. I didn't even know about this. This is just phenomenal to me. This is, let me get to the first page, sorry. Dude, there's 6 pages of this. Can anyone tell me what this is? I'll give you 10 seconds. Close enough. So this is a list of every one of Nolan Ryan's strikeouts, and it covers 6 pages worth. It gives the date, who it was, what team. Does it get all 5,714? No, it couldn't have. It only goes up to, let me see. Hold on now. If there's like 10 pages of this. This entire book is what the strikeouts were. So it gets up to 5,511, which was Terry Steinbach. So 5,511. So, dude, and then it talks about all of his major league records here, and then it talks about all of his 314 victories here. So, like, you guys that are into like stats and records and just like dates, I'm that kind of guy. Like, I love this kind of stuff. Like, I love doing like this deep dives into like data. I'm not a statistician, but you know, it's just interesting to go through that stuff. But like halfway through this book, it's got other pictures with him and Tom Seaver, and it has his like different awards, like his Victor Award, his Lifesaver Award, 300 Victories Award. It's got him down here with the President Bobby Brown. I mean, this is just an excellent, excellent record of all of Nolan's accomplishments, all of his strikeouts. Let's see what else is in here. And right there, you know, it has. Wow, that's a great. Says when the cards were dealt, fame was the prize. That's kind of interesting. But I also too, I would say like just to be able to pitch that long and to be as successful as he was, it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of dedication to the game, discipline to keep his body in shape to pitch like that for that long. Like, oh my, I can't. There's, and it would take special. It would take special genes to be able to do that as well. So, yeah, talent takes you a long way, but he did his job too as far as keeping himself healthy for as long as he could. So just what a testament to probably the greatest pitcher of all time, in my opinion. I know I'm not going to get into it. I know he never won a Cy Young. He should have, but he didn't, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. But just so that's that. So with that, these four cards. So I also have the four cards, keep it a pack that was like in a little pocket. And we'll go through the four cards there because I have, to be honest, I thought I didn't have them, so I went and bought them, and then I was looking through that one day, and I found those cards. I didn't even know those cards came with it. So we're going to go through the cards now. So this was the 5,000th, I don't know why I can't talk, 5,000th career strikeout. Right there. So that's a cool one. And of course we know it was against the late great Rickey Henderson. So that's the first one of that. And then the second one was the 6th career no-hitter. That happened on June 11th, 1990. I believe John Russell was the catcher. Yep. And that was against the Athletics. So that scorecard that was commemorating commemorating the no-hit club there. That was the 6th no-hitter for that one. So here's the back of that one. Let me turn that way so you guys can see it. And then the third card was his 300th career victory. And that was against the Brewers on July 31st, 1990. And they won 11-3. So, you know, this is really cool to be like he included his family as much as he could. I think he brought his boys along whenever he could to be close to baseball, and I think that's awesome. And then the fourth and final card that was in that set was this 7th career no-hitter, which was against the Toronto Blue Jays, of course, on May 1st, 1991. And the back one is this. So, cool booklet, cool cards. And then finally for 1991 score, they had the 100 Superstars set that was separate from the regular score set. But Nolan was number 25 in that set. And that's that card there. So super cool. I think Score really did it right in 1991 with their entire set. Like it just, as a kid, that had to have been like one of the greatest sets of all time until like maybe 80. It was right up there with the Upper Deck sets. With their cool pictures, with the they had those motion pictures where it showed Nolan in different wind up and delivery photos, and Ricky Henderson stealing a base and stuff like that. But this has to be one of the best sets of the '90s, I think, just because it offered so much for kids and stuff. It like really caught, in my eyes anyway, it caught my attention, it caught my imagination, and I just thought they were really cool cards. So I wanted to show them and show the Nolans with that set because there was quite a few of them, and it's just interesting to see. So that's all I have for you today for the Sensational Set Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. Please just tell me what you think of the cards, or that book that I showed you. I think that was a really cool thing to have. But that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.